And we are live for Chicago Blackhawks hockey. Yes, we're doing it live for tonight. Your Chicago Blackhawks are in Winnipeg, facing off against Chicago's captain, Jonathan Toews, and the Winnipeg Jets. It's going to be a bittersweet moment on ice tonight for your Chicago Blackhawks as, well, we're playing great hockey this season. And, well, the main story is it's Jonathan Toews' first game facing off against your Chicago Blackhawks. It's the big story of the night in the NHL. We're going to see Toews facing off against Connor Bedard. This is going to be one of those matchups that, well, 3 years ago, we probably never thought we'll see Toews back on the ice after he played his final game as a Chicago Blackhawk. Well, he's back on the ice playing for his hometown team, the Winnipeg Jets. It's a bit of a sad day because I'm a big Jonathan Toews fan, so hence why I had to bring out the Jonathan Toews hat, put his Canada jersey he signed, and his 1,000 game jersey that he ended up signing this past summer. I also did put my Troy Murray jerseys up for him in his battle that he's going through right now. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. Winnipeg's playing a good game again. They are the defending President's Trophy winners, even though you don't really want to have that trophy going into the playoffs. But Winnipeg is coming in with a record of 7-3-0, and the Hawks playing some good hockey as well with a record of 5-3-2. This should be a matchup that would be a fun one to see. Both teams have good offense. Both teams play good defensively. I would expect Jeff Blashill to be doing the classic 11-7 format again, as he's been doing every game this season, where he's played 11 forwards, 7 defensemen. In net for your Chicago Blackhawks tonight is number 30, Spencer Knight, taking on Connor Hellebuyck of the Winnipeg Jets. This is another key moment for the game because Knight has been outstanding this season. And frankly, in my opinion, he should be in the conversation for Team USA and the Winter Olympic team. Connor Hellebuyck obviously will be the number 1 starter for Team USA, but Spencer Knight is up there for contention to be a goalie for Team USA. So let's get into the chat, shall we? What's up, Ryan? How are you doing? Nimmer saying, such an emotional evening facing Toews for the first time. Yeah. Oh, I just saw that you said you like the Toews Foundation hat, Ryan. What's up, Gunza? Goza? Please let me know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I always read it and I can never. Is it Goza 18? Again, thanks for coming in. At least the Blackhawks have a better home record than the Rangers. The Rangers are not good. They do not play a good hockey. Goza. Okay. I just wanted to verify because I read it every time. It's been a while since I've done a live stream, so I don't want to mess it up. You think Bedard has a shot at Team Canada? I would like to say yes, he does have a shot, but it's going to be tough because Canada has a stronger forward core versus the for instance, I think Frank Nazar does end up making Team USA because Team USA's offensive core, the forwards, not as deep as Canada's. So I would say Bedard's chances are much lower than Frank Nazar's chances of making the Olympics this year. Even though last game Bedard showed that, hey, you talking about me? I'm going to put my name back in that ballot box for Team Canada. Yeah, I did see that. So we'll see what happens there. Knight, Nazar, and possibly Vlasic for Team USA. I could see it. Nazar obviously had a hell of a world championship this past summer. He probably should have won the MVP of the tournament. He was definitely the MVP of Team USA in that tournament. Alex Vlasic getting his a chance and winning the world championship with Nazar also got him an opportunity to show up to the USA team development that they had over at the end of the summer. So maybe. Anton Frondell did make Team Sweden. I did see that. So I'm looking forward to seeing Frondell. But is it only for the World Juniors? I thought it was for World Juniors, not Olympic team yet. I don't think they put Frondell and Team Sweden on the Olympic team, but I did see he is going to be on the World Junior team. So, guys, what are you most looking forward for this for tonight's action? Because obviously, the main story of tonight's game is obviously Jonathan Toews facing off against the Chicago Blackhawks. Taser obviously is Chicago's captain and always will be Chicago's captain. So, I want to know what your thoughts are going into this. Yeah, I did see he's been placed was placed lower on the lineup in your garden, but he's still producing at a great clip. So I'm not too worried about Frendell and development because he is playing great hockey. And I think we end up seeing Frendell come to the Blackhawks at the end of this season. Lourdes and Moore have been playing great in Rockford as well. They, well, obviously, Lourdes is, if I remember correctly, second in the AHL in points. So it's good to see the prospects developing well. And we're seeing from like Lourdes Moore making make noise to try and make this Blackhawks roster, even though this Hawks roster has been playing really good right now. It's been, I would say this, it's been the most entertaining Blackhawk team I've watched in at least 8 years. This Blackhawks team just seems fun. They find the way to win games. They're not like what we were watching the last handful of years where frankly, the Hawks will find ways to lose games. They seem like they have more confidence out there, a swagger to their game, not getting pushed around. They're a good hockey team. Yes. Ryan, got my key point there. There are going to be playing a very tough opponent in Winnipeg. This team and the Jets are going to give the Hawks a large test for how they've been playing this season thus far. However, It's going to take place in the second period where that long shift comes when we see um, the longer shifts happening because the Hawks kind of find themselves stuck in the defensive zone when it comes to the second period of play in each of their games. But the Jets are a team who do play a perimeter game, and the Hawks have been a team to find a way to shut it down. They've been playing a good perimeter defensive game. So we'll see what happens. As you may know, I've been watching a lot of the Winnipeg Jets this season because I've been keeping an eye on our captain. Yes, our captain obviously is Nick Foligno, but for me growing up, Jonathan Toews has always been the captain of the Blackhawks, and he's one of my hockey idols. So I will forever call him Chicago's captain. Hell, even on this jersey, it says Chicago's captain on the 1,000-game patch. No Darren Ping in the box with Rick Ball tonight as Pinger is on duties with TNT for the national broadcast. So we'll have Rick Ball and Tony Granato on the call for the game on TV. And should be interesting to see how this game goes. I'm really ready for some Blackhawks hockey. Especially today's just felt like a long day thinking about how it's going to go facing off against Jonathan Toews for the very first time. So I wonder who's the next captain. Who will be the next captain? Bedard, maybe, possibly Nazar, or when Fliggy retires. I will say this. My pick for next captain actually is Alex Vlasic. That's who I think should be the next captain of the Blackhawks. I do see the Bedard option because he is the best player on the team. I also see the Nazar option, but what I think happens is Alex Vlasic captain, Connor Bedard alternate captain, and Frank Nazar alternate captain. Here's why I say it like this. Vlasic just feels like that, has that captain personality. And the Hawks haven't had a captain that was on the blue line in a long time. And one of our more notable captains in Blackhawks history was Chris Chelios, a Chicago native, on the blue line. Well, Alex Vlasic is a Chicago native on the blue line, and he does show those attributes, I feel like, as a captain for the locker room. Thinking Ryan Donato. I don't think Donato's going to get a letter on his jersey. Well, Ryan, Donato did sign a 4-year contract, and there are no trade clauses into that contract, so Donato's going to be with the Hawks for a while. And I like Donato, but I just don't think Donato's going to be a captain of the team. I think what's going to be for the next captain would be one of the young core members. Yeah, there's I believe it's a 16-team no trade clause. Let me pull up old Puckpedia to check, but I do believe that's what Donato's contract has. I'm trying to find it. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, here. Years one, there's a 10-team no trade list, and a year two of the 2 through 4 of the contract. There's a 8-team no trade. So that's how his contract's written out. Still, I'm waiting for my Centennial jersey. Hopefully that comes in soon so you guys can actually see an unboxing of the jersey because I have not received it yet. But we'll see what happens. Well, I my technically I ordered it, but my parents bought it for me because it was a birthday gift on my birthday. So August 7th was when I placed the order on the jersey. Guys, if you want, share the link to people to join the live stream so they can join in, watch along as I do my own play-by-play for tonight's action of Blackhawks versus Jets, Jonathan Toews' first game versus the Hawks. Okay, guys, let's get a little prediction action going in tonight's action. What's your prediction for the score slash first goal scorer of the game? I'll give you my prediction after some start rolling in. Yeah, it is weird seeing Jonathan Toews in a Jets jersey. Just like it's weird seeing Patrick Kane in a Red Wing jersey, Duncan Keith in an Edmonton Oiler jersey, Jarmerson wearing that Arizona Coyote jersey, Patrick Sharp in a Star jersey. Okay, 4-2 Hawks. Donato first goal of the game, said Ryan. Okay, guys, anyone else predicting? Should be. I'm thinking this game will be a close game. Probably an overtime game, the way Hawks and Jets have gone and especially after their last meetup, which was the final home game of last season. I'm going to predict a 3-2 final. Hawks win in overtime. And first goal scorer of the night. Put Nick Foligno down for me. I will say this: I do have tickets for Jonathan Toews' first game back in the United Center, which I'm really looking forward for. And I probably will end up wearing a Toews jersey that night, just because that night's going to be something special. I also definitely would be wearing this hat. Usually I have a rule in place where if a player I have a jersey of is currently on a different team, I don't wear their jersey until they officially retire. So I do break the rule if there's special reasoning for it. So like Jonathan Toews is a mainstay in Chicago. He's a superstar of Chicago. I would wear a Jonathan Toews jersey on the day he returns back to the United Center. I know I did not do that with Patrick Kane's first game back. I did wear a Chris Chelios jersey that game because that was the Chris Chelios jersey retirement. So maybe later when Kane comes back this year, I will end up wearing a Kane jersey. I don't know quite yet, but I do know for sure January 19th, when the Jets come to the United Center, I will be wearing a Jonathan Toews jersey. All right, face-off is about to drop. The puck. Jonathan Toews at the dot versus Frank Nazar. Nazar wins the face-off back over to Matt Grzelcyk. Grzelcyk plays the puck over, and the Hawks dump it into the offensive zone. Jonathan Toews with the puck, taking the puck and sending it up the ice. The Jets now have control. Toews with it. Toews dumping it into the offensive zone for the Winnipeg Jets, and a big check by Louis Crevier. Hawks now gain control. Hawks lose control, and the Jets now go up with it. Hawks regain control in the defensive zone is Louis Crevier. Crevier sends it up the ice. Teuvo Teravainen now with the puck. Teuvo dumps it for Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi shoots it, and it goes off a Jets defenseman, and it went wide. Now the Jets have control in their defensive zone, setting up and sending it out of the zone and into the Hawks defensive zone, but Spencer Knight is there to play the puck. Oh no, bad control by the Hawks leading to miscommunication, nearly leading to a goal against them, but Spencer Knight freezes the puck to settle things down. 19:06 remaining in the first period. It's still 0-0. Jets won the face-off, and the puck is now controlled by Winnipeg, setting up and a misplay, and the Hawks now try regaining control. It's Ryan Donato now. Donato gets checked and sends the puck out of the defensive zone. Winnipeg now going down the ice is Connor. Connor getting pulp checked by Colton Dach, and there was a penalty called, and the Hawks will be headed to the penalty kill. Colton Dach getting called for hooking, I believe. Yep. Yeah, that's a hook. He got the hands. If he was a bit lower on the stick, that would have just been a good stick lift, but that was a hook. Okay, Hawks now on the PK, a minute and 30 into the game. Winnipeg has control. Hellebuck sets it up for the Jets to go down the ice. Winnipeg now has it. Winnipeg taking it down the ice, setting it up. Hawks are going to have to keep them wide, and the Jets just score immediately on the entry. Bad defensive setup by the Hawks. Winnipeg takes advantage of it, and the Hawks go down early 1-0 off the PK. Bad work by the Hawks there. Here we go to start this game. Hawks off to a bad start. First shot of the game, Winnipeg puts it into that. Nenestikov is credited with the goal. That was a bad breakdown by the Hawks on that PK. They just let the Jets walk right in. Hawks now have control. Losing it was Burakovsky. Now the Jets send the puck out of the zone, and it appears the Blackhawks will be headed to their first power play of the game. Yep. Hawks headed to their first power play of the game. Maybe they will take advantage of it with the Jets just scoring off their own first power play. So here we go. Time to start getting something going by the Blackhawks. Nazar gets beat by Toews on the PK. And the Hawks set up. Connor Bedard over to Sam Rinzel. Rinzel feeds it over to Tabo. Fires! Oh, Bertuzzi nearly put it in. It's Bedard to Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi sends it up the ice, and the Hawks set up. It's Rinzel over to Burakovsky. Burakovsky sends it to Bertuzzi. Burakovsky now controlling. Burakovsky getting checked by Toews. Down to Bertuzzi. Bedard with a shot and a save by Hellebuck. Hawks now have to go down the ice and set up. It's Sam Rinzel with the puck. With a minute and 20 remaining on the power play, but the refs just stopped the play. That was a nice scoring chance by Connor Bedard to give the Hawks an opportunity. Connor Hellebuck's mask broke from that shot from Bedard. So 17-18 remaining in the first period. Hawks on a power play, 1:20 remaining on it. Down 1-0 to the Winnipeg Jets as Nemesikov scored his on the first shot of the game on a power play for themselves. Oh, breakaway for Frank Nazar! Oh my God. And Hellebuck freezes it. Ah. Frankie at the dot versus Toews. Frankie won it. Rinzel with setting up. Fires! And a save by Hellebuck. Toews clears the puck down the ice. And Spencer Knight sets it up for Rinzel. Rinzel going down the ice, drop passing for Bedard. Bedard putting on some speed. Bedard cutting up into the offensive zone. Drop pass to Rinzel. Rinzel down to Bedard. Bedard on the circle. Setting up. Looking. Back pass, and it's stolen by the Jets in a 2-on-1 break for Winnipeg. Winnipeg looking, and a shot saved by Knight. God, guys, gotta clean it up here. 32 seconds remaining on the power play, and Winnipeg had a 2-on-1 break for a shorthanded opportunity. Bad pass by Bedard that got stolen, and that's how the Jets went down the ice. Hawks win the faceoff in the defensive zone. Letchinov taking the puck and getting sent to the board area, and Al Green sends it over. Teravainen with the puck over to Foligno. Foligno sending the puck around the ice. Hawks now with control. Foligno setting up on the blue line, feeds it over, and it went to no one, and the Jets now have opportunity to kill this penalty. So the power play is over for the Hawks, and the Hawks are down 1-0 to Winnipeg. Litchinov sends it back down to Vlasic. Vlasic settled things down in his defensive zone for the line changes to come out. 15:44 remaining in the first period of play. Winnipeg now with control and taking it up through the center ice. Hawks are keeping them wide, and Spencer Knight comes out to play the puck. Hawks now loses control. Winnipeg setting up in the Hawks defensive zone. Jason Dickinson steals and tried to get it up the ice. Winnipeg now battling. And a save by Knight, and now the puck is loose. Doc is now with it. Dickinson sends it up, and the Hawks get checked. It was Slager. Winnipeg now controlling. Going down the ice was Jonathan Toews. Vlasic whipped the puck over to Dickinson. Dickinson tried to clear it out and couldn't get it out. Vlasic up to Dickinson. Dickinson trying to clear it out again, and it goes up towards center ice. Hawks now for a line change, and Winnipeg goes up for the ice again. Morrissey dumping it in, and the Hawks now losing control. Morrissey with a shot and a save by Knight with some Jets up front of the net causing some chaos. Yeah, the power play definitely needed some work. They couldn't get much going. Ooh. Hawks winning the faceoff in the defensive zone. Matt Grizzlick playing the puck up the ice, and now the Hawks are in the offensive zone. Bertuzzi tried to spin, no-look pass, and the Jets come up with it. Connor dumping it in. Scheifele coming out with it. Hawks now try dumping it out of the defensive zone. Scheifele behind the goal line, getting checked by Nazar. Nazar trying to get it, but Scheifele comes up with it. Scheifele over to Morrissey. Morrissey sends it across, and the nice block by Bertuzzi, and the Hawks get it out of the zone. No, they do not. And the Hawks are now back with the puck in the defensive zone, getting it down into the offensive zone for themselves to make a change. Winnipeg setting up in their defensive zone and trying to get up the ice with it to set up a play. Winnipeg at center ice is going down the ice, setting it, going for a shot that did not get a shot off, but they just did from the blue line, and Neil Pionk almost had a good opportunity, which was blocked. Hawks now with control. Bedard over to Letchinov. Letchinov losing control of the puck. Now it's Green. Green battling with Burakovsky to come out with it. Burakovsky at the board battle. Green trying to come up with the puck and now Burakovsky down, and Neil Pionk comes out with the puck. Winnipeg goes down the ice. Hawks are not able to get much control, and Wyatt Kaiser now steals the puck off a nice hit. Ryan Green now with the puck, going down the ice and dumping it into the offensive zone for a line change. 12:50 remaining in the first period. Winnipeg setting up. Winnipeg getting checked over, and a good opportunity for the Jets to do something here, but the Blackhawks are trying to keep them wide. Sam Renzel now with the puck, sending the puck down the ice. Jonathan Toews keeping control in the offensive zone. Vlasic comes up with it, gets it over to Colton Dach. Colton Dach settled things down in the defensive zone, but Winnipeg now has been control again. Jonathan Toews with the puck. Toews sent it up to the blue line, and the puck goes out of play at 12:17. In the first period, the Hawks are down by 1. It's 1-0. Winnipeg off their first shot of the game via the power play of the Jets. Not a good start for the Blackhawks. They had a power play, didn't do much with it. Bedard had a nice scoring chance, but Winnipeg is really a demanding team, can control play well. The Hawks are not looking that strong to the puck, so we'll see what happens. Nemiskevich. Again, sorry if I'm not too familiar with the Jets' numbers all too well because I don't pay attention to the Jets that much, mainly because I am more focused on the Hawks. But when I do watch Jets games, I'm really just watching Jonathan Toews on ice. So I'm trying to figure out those numbers again. All right, here we go. CHSN showing a highlight package of Jonathan Toews from his career as a Hawk. Winnipeg comes out with the puck off the face-off in the defensive zone. Nyquist can't get it. Foligno now with the puck, sending it down the ice. Hawks trying to do something. Slager can't come up with it. It's now Kaiser trying to get the puck, and it goes over to Louis Crevier. Crevier sends the puck up the ice. Hawks now on a rush, and couldn't do much with it as Bedard fell on his face a little bit. So behind Knight is the puck, and the battle for the puck is Vlasic and now Murphy trying to get it out, and the Jets nearly had a scoring opportunity. But Slager dumping it in to change. Now Bedard trying to battle to get that puck, but Hellebuck set up a good outlet. The Jets now go up with his Scheifele. Scheifele trying to cut through, and the Hawks come out with it. Bertuzzi tried to send it up the ice for Nazar. Couldn't do it. Now Hellebuck with it, and a goal for Teuvo Teravainen as Connor Hellebuck reads the play. It goes out of the net, and the Hawks are on the board. Teuvo Teravainen takes advantage of Connor Hellebuck kind of looking stupid on the play. Puck just ricochets off the glass, and Teuvo gets an easy empty net goal and puts it in. Hawks on the board. Teuvo Teravainen getting the Hawks tied up with the Jets. 11:03 remaining in the first period. 1-1 game. Shots on goal 4-3 in favor for your Chicago Blackhawks. Winnipeg dumping the puck into the Hawks defensive zone. Matt Grzelcyk battles, and now Lashunov sends it. And Nazar tries to get it out of the zone. Winnipeg battling. Toews tries to do something. Nazar comes out with it. Nazar cutting through center ice and gets poke checked. Now it's Crevier. Crevier can't get it out, and the Jets set up. Jonathan Toews out there for the Winnipeg Jets looking for an opportunity. Hawks trying to steal with Nazar. Toews with the puck. Toews tries to send it across the ice to the Jets goal scorer, Nemiskevich. And the Hawks now try to send it on the ice. Hawks now lose control. And a misread, and Green almost had a great scoring chance that he went on a breakaway as a Jets player fell on his butt. I did not catch what Winnipeg defenseman that was when he lost an edge. Now the Hawks in. Burakovsky sets up. Burrow looking towards the blue line. It's Kaiser. Kaiser sends it down to Green. Green to Bedard. Sharp pain goal shot, and that goes wide. Renzel now with it. Over to Bedard on the blue line. Back to Kaiser. Kaiser sends it down behind Hellebuck, and The puck is loose for Bedard. Bedard up to Renzel. Renzel tried to feed it down to Burakovsky, and the Hawks can't get much control. Hellebuck now has control, and the Jets set up in their defensive zone is Fleury. Fleury sends the puck up to Connor. Connor looking. Connor getting checked towards the boards, and the Hawks trying to get it out, but the Jets nearly had a good chance. It was shyly trying to cut Connor in the slot. But the Hawks now come up with it and dump it into center ice. Winnipeg comes up with his Neil Pionk. Pionk dekes and goes up for a rush. Pionk with the puck going down the ice, dumping it into the Hawks defensive zone. Pionk behind Spencer Knight. Now it's Scheifele. Scheifele trying to get to it. Back to Pionk. And the Hawks are now trying to get it is Louis Crevier. Crevier sends the puck down the ice, and the Hawks go for a change. 8:24 remaining in the first period. It's a 1-1 game. Goal scorers for the Chicago Blackhawks is Teuvo Teravainen. Now Winnipeg has control in the Hawks defensive zone. Winnipeg looking for an opportunity to score here, but the Hawks are keeping them wide. Good defensive read, and the net comes off the moorings at 8:03 in the first period, and the net just came off the moorings and stopped some play. Shots on goal, 5-3 in favor for your Chicago Blackhawks. It's a 1-1 game. Man, entertaining hockey to start. The Hawks did not get off to a good start, but they are getting some lucky bounces. All right, face off in the defensive zone. Nazar at the dot. Nazar loses the face-off. Morrissey now has it. Morrissey sets it up a good cross point and a good shot. Jets tried an opportunity, but Knight said no. 7:56 remaining in the first period. All right, now they go to commercial break. Probably one of the easiest goals for Teuvo Teravainen. That's not a normal empty net goal, because that was an empty net goal, but it was not a normal one because Hellebuck was still on ice. If I do remember correctly, because last year, the final home game of the season, the Hawks played the Jets at the United Center. Hellebuck was not reading the puck well whatsoever. Are we getting a little bit of a callback to the last home game at the United Center? Maybe. Yeah, it was rough to watch the Hawks last year. I mean, I watched every single game. I haven't missed a game since 2009. It was rough. I was like at the point where I almost want to take a break from watching the games, but I did not. So here we go again. Showing a guy wearing a 2010 Jonathan Toews Stanley Cup Final jersey. The puck also kind of seems like it's kind of bouncing weird in this game. There's been some weird chances for the Hawks that have gone their way. All right. Renzel now with the puck in the defensive zone, sends it up to Doc. Doc tried to get it out, and now the Hawks in the offensive zone, but the Jets have control. Winnipeg trying to come out with it and send it up the ice. Morrissey behind Hellebuck sends it up the ice over, and the Jets start controlling. Morrissey at center ice, dumping it into the Hawks defensive zone. Burakovsky tried coming up with it. Now Ryan Green sends it up to Connor Bedard. Bedard versus Pionk. Pionk gets a good stick on it, and the Jets clear. Hawks at center ice with control now. But little mishandle, and the Jets get control. Winnipeg has it. It's Jonathan Toews. Taser sends it down the ice, and the Hawks have the puck for an icing. 6:47 remaining in the first period. All right, Frank Nazar at the dot. Loses the faceoff to Jonathan Toews. But Lechunov comes out with it after the Jets try clearing it. It's Bertuzzi now with it. Bertuzzi getting checked by Neil Pionk. Nazar gets it to Tavo. Over to Lechunov. Lechunov with a shot, and puck comes loose, and Tavo now with it. Tavo Teravainen gets it to Nazar. Nazar getting checked by Toews, but Kaiser now with it in the slot. Over to Nazar with the shot, and that went wide. Kaiser over to Lechunov. Lechunov dumping it, and that goes out of play. Good opportunities coming by the Blackhawks with that Frank Nazar line. They have been, when the Hawks are on the ice and it's the Nazar line, they've been generating so far this game. 6:13 remaining in the first period. Connor Bedard at the faceoff dot versus Barron. Bedard getting tossed for Ryan Green. Green at the dot wins the faceoff, but Winnipeg comes up with it. Winnipeg going down the ice is Nemiskevich. I do believe I'm pronouncing his name right. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the chat. Crevier tried to get it out of the zone. Winnipeg is battling for that puck. Hawks are trying to get it out of the defensive zone. Bedard now with it. Bedard sends it over to Crevier over to Burakovsky to Bedard. Bedard at center ice now offensive zone. Bedard on the backhand getting blocked, and the Jets now sends it up the ice. Winnipeg now settle things down for a quick change and defensive exit. Hawks now are trying to do a change as well. Winnipeg now with it. Hawks go down the ice. It's Connor Murphy coming up with it, but Winnipeg steals. Jason Dickinson almost gets it out of the zone, and now Kaiser sends it up, and the Hawks clear it out of the zone. It's Morrissey now with control. Winnipeg trying to get something going for their outlet. Winnipeg does. They send it into the Hawks defensive zone, but Colton Dach is there to get the puck. Ford was checking Dach, and the Hawks tried clearing it out, and now they set up for the quick change to go down the ice. Winnipeg is battling again and having some chances, but Foligno has it at center ice over to the Hawks in the defensive zone. Now the Jets start, it's now back and forth, back up and back into the Hawks offensive and defensive zones. So we'll see what happens here. It's Grzelcyk. Grzelcyk sends the puck up, and the Hawks now exit over to Renzel. Renzel cuts back and shoots wide. Bertuzzi with a shot that goes wide. Renzel sets up, fires, and almost a good there was a good scoring chance by a good redirection and screen by Landon Slager, but the Hawks weren't able to find the back of the net at 3:53 remaining in the first period. It's a 1-1 game as the Jets ice the puck. Shots on goals 6-4 in favor for your Chicago Blackhawks. All right. Tavo at the dot. Tavo versus Jonathan Toews. Two former teammates. Two Stanley Cup champion teammates. All right. Hawks win the faceoff. Lechunov sets up over to Vlasic. Vlasic with a shot, and that was saved by Hellebuyck. 3:43 remaining in the first period. Hawks and Jets are at a standstill, one apiece. I am verifying I pronounce the guy's name right because I am. I do like how Elite Prospect has the pronunciations of names, so I'm going to check. I sometimes have a harder time pronouncing the Russian names.
Vladislav
Namestnikov. I was saying it right. Vladislav Namestnikov. So goal scorers of the game, Teuvo Teravainen has the tying goal, and Vladislav Namestnikov has the first goal of the game. Again, I have a harder time. The Russian names kind of almost tongue tie me. Ice is definitely choppy if the refs are trying to work on something in the offensive zone. All right, Crevier sends the puck down. Shifley almost comes up with it. Nazar now with it. Hawks setting up. Bertuzzi behind Hellebuyck. Bertuzzi getting checked towards the boards, losing control. But the Hawks come out with it. Crevier sends it over. Hawks over to Table, who whips on a shot, and Shifley now has control. Winnipeg sets up, and Velarde with it. Now the Jets go down the ice as Morrissey. Morrissey gets it, and now it's Shifley on a 2-on-1. And that's an easy 2-on-1 break for the Jets. It's a 2-1 goal, and the Hawks are down by Velarde scoring. Yeah, I do know how to say Nazar. Yeah, the odd man rushes have been a bad thing for the Hawks uh, but those are harder to break down. Okay, Ryan Green now with the puck. Green trying to get it out of the zone and does. Hawks now trying to get to it. Winnipeg getting it in the corner. Winnipeg loses control. Hawks now set up is Renzel. Renzel sends it. Now Bedard with a shot that goes wide. That had a lot of potential by Connor Bedard to tie the game back up. Now Winnipeg now with it. Winnipeg looking for an opportunity was Barron. Barron loses control and the Hawks come out with it. Donato over to Renzel, dumping it into the offensive zone. Hellebuck is playing it. Hellebuck gets the puck and sends it down the ice. It's the Jets. The Winnipeg Jets are battling, and Murphy now comes up with it. Murphy dumping it into the offensive zone, and that was icing. 153 remaining in the first period. Hawks down by one. Shots on goal 6-5 in favor for the Hawks. Velarde was the goal scorer to put the Jets ahead. Morrissey nearly was another chance for Velarde to score. Hawks are getting helmed, and now they clear it out of the defensive zone. Winnipeg sets up is DeMello. DeMello dumps it down, and the Jets set up. Velarde getting checked, and the Hawks come up with the puck. Donato shoots it off the as soon as the whistle went for offside. 129 remaining in the first period. Hawks down by one. Nick Foligno at the faceoff dot. Foligno did lose the faceoff to Jonathan Toews. Vlasic comes out with it. Vlasic at the defensive zone. Toews comes out. No, it's Nemiskevich coming up with it. The Jets set up and shoots wide. Vlasic now having control. Now Toews trying to set up the Jets. When Toews almost had a good outlet, a good shot, a slot pass that didn't go through. Hawks are now stuck in the defensive zone. Jonathan Toews with his iconic wraparound that did not go through that time. Toews with the puck at center ice sets up for a line change for Winnipeg. Winnipeg sets up, going down the ice, and that was not well read by Murph. Now it's Nazar going down the ice. Nazar looking, cuts through, fires Bedard with that shot. Now the Jets going back down. Nazar getting checked. Winnipeg with control. Big hit by Grzelcyk. Barron coming up with it. Grzelcyk over to Bedard. Bedard with 8 seconds. Bedard dumping. Bedard in the offensive zone. Last second shot that goes wide. And the Hawks, after one, are down by one to the Winnipeg Jets. It's 2-1 Winnipeg. Shots on goal 7-6 in favor for the Blackhawks. Man, Bedard's having some good looks. If I'm not, I believe Bedard's already up to. I'm going to pull up his stat line, but I believe he has 3 shots on the game. So, with the first period over, the Hawks are down by 1. Was not a great start for the Blackhawks as they took a penalty early. The Jets took advantage of it, putting it into the net. Then the Hawks had their own power play, had a couple looks on it, couldn't find the back of the net. Hellebuck stood strong. But then Hellebuck makes a mistake, and Teuvo Teravainen pounces on it for an empty net goal to tie the game up. However, late in the period, Winnipeg was able to take the lead back by a 2-on-1 break with Scheifele and Velarde buried it past Spencer Knight. It's 2-1 Winnipeg after 1. So, shots on goal by the Blackhawks is Ryan Green, Teuvo Teravainen for his goal, Frank Nazar with 2 shots on goal, and Connor Bedard with a shot on goal. And the other shot on goal went to Sam Renzel. Winnipeg players with shots on goal, 2 by Velarde, Ford with 2, with 1, Barron with 1, name it Snevitt with 1, none from their blue line. So we're in for a weird game, it feels like. I'm trying to I'm going to pull up the game scores around the league here in a moment. So hang tight. All right. Game scores so far tonight. Obviously, the Hawks and Jets are in first intermission. It's a 2-1 game as we're watching this game together. In the second intermission, the Boston Bruins lead 3-1 over the Buffalo Sabres. In the second intermission, the Calgary Flames lead 2-1 over the Ottawa Senators. In the second intermission, the Tampa Bay Lightning lead 1-0 over the Dallas Stars. Over in Philadelphia, they're in the second intermission as well. It's a 2-1 game for Philadelphia over Nashville. Islanders versus Hurricanes in the second period at 14:48. It is a 3-1 lead for the Hurricanes as the Islanders just go to the power play. And the first intermission in St. Louis, it's a 1-1 game. First intermission in Minnesota, 1-0 Minnesota. And the other games that have not started yet, the Edmonton Oilers versus New York Rangers, which is about to get started in 8 minutes here. The San Jose Sharks versus New Jersey Devils, which will start in almost an hour. And then the LA Kings taking on the Detroit Red Wings at 9:30. So Murphy did get credited for his first point of the season on the Teuvo Teravainen goal. I wish the Hawks will do something like that Winnipeg is doing. They do on-ice projections that the Hawks used to do, but haven't done it in years. Bring those back into the United Center. On-ice projections look good for the in-game, like during the intermissions and pregame. I think they're one of the only teams that don't do on ice projections of like fun stuff to put some graphics on the ice. So, anyone in the chat have gone to any Blackhawk games this season? I've currently gone to 4 in the regular season, 1 in the preseason. Oh, no, yeah, 4 in regular season, 1 preseason game this year. My record currently is going to games with that preseason game added. It's a 3-2 record. Regular season record is 2-2. At games. The games I saw wins, obviously, was the ass kicking against the St. Louis Blues, where they put up a snowman. And the game against Utah. And then that preseason game where the Hawks were in St. Louis, the Hawks won that one as well. Let's see if I can set up something. I will not be filming a review for tonight's game because I am obviously doing this live stream. Unless you guys do want me to, I could do a review, even though I think it's a little redundant to do a review while of the game when doing a live stream during the entire 60 minutes of play. I do need to get a new white jersey so I could put the Centennial patch on that. I have the Centennial patch for the road jersey, just don't have a Fanatics road jersey. Only Fanatic jerseys currently I own or Winter Classic ones, and this Troy Murray Hockey Fights Cancer jersey. And whenever my Centennial home jersey shows up, don't know when that's ever going to happen. We'll see when that shows up. And then I do know by the leaks that people have been receiving, they've been receiving the black jersey. Whenever that releases, I will be getting one of those for sure. It's a matter of time when the Hawks' third jersey officially releases because Fanatics is screwing up and they've sent out several of them to people and they've leaked it. I hate leaks for one reason. It ruins a good surprise for what a jersey will look like, even though the word has been for years that the black jersey was coming back. Probably the last 3-ish years, the black jersey's coming back. And it sure does look like it because people are receiving it now. Don't know if any of you guys have been watching the World Series. Actually, been quite fun watching that. 5 minutes till puck drop in the second period, so should be getting close to some hockey going back. This road trip is definitely a major test for the Blackhawks, as the Hawks are on starting a 6-game road trip out tonight, and it will end in Detroit. All these teams that we're facing in this 6-game roadie has given the Hawks trouble in the last several years. So we'll see what happens. Yes, I am. I was hinting at Tad for one of the people who've received a black jersey. Just keep the live as the review. Well, Ryan, the live stream will end up going into the playlist for this season on my YouTube channel. I have a playlist for this full season, so that's where it will end up going to after the live stream is over. Yes, but yeah, I do know Tab was one of the people who somehow received the jersey. Actually, I'm going to put this live stream into the playlist right now so I don't forget to do that after the game. When I do order a black jersey, whenever that happens, I do plan on probably getting Spencer Knight for that jersey, mainly because I think it would be cool to go with Niter on the jersey. One thing I do hate about ESPN Plus this year, it does not work properly when it cuts from commercial to play. You do have to hit the go live button before the commercial ends, so you're not behind in the game. Because sometimes it goes like you're a minute delayed or 3 minutes delayed. I've had that problem once before this year. All right. Third and second period of play about to get going. So let's change this score bug to and there we go. Score bug has been fixed to the second period of play. Wish I could get a live clock running for game clock on the, but I'm not. I don't have the. I don't have like OBS running, and this is via StreamYard, and StreamYard doesn't give you so many options, so that's the best I can do from StreamYard. Haven't used StreamYard in a long time, actually. That's why I came and put my logo up on the stream. So the Hawks won the faceoff in the second period to start the game. The second period off. Winnipeg now with control. It's Hellebuck behind his net. And, well, Frank Nazar nearly stole the puck from Hellebuck. The Jets are now stuck in their defensive zone. Nazar gets it over to Kaiser. Kaiser shoots it. That goes wide. Teravainen nearly puts it in. Tavo sends it over to Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi to Tavo. Over to Kaiser on the blue line. Kaiser dumping it down to Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi getting checked by Pionk. And Bertuzzi coming out with the puck. Nazar getting checked by Pionk now. Hawks still controlling play. Winnipeg comes out with it was Jonathan Toews. Winnipeg Nemitz. No, that was not who I thought that was. Now Teravainen with the puck. Tavo dumping it in. Dickinson loses control. Dickinson dumping it down to the defensive zone. In fact, that was an icing by the Winnipeg Jets. I thought Dickey got his stick on the puck. 18:57 remaining in the first period. Hawks down by 1. All right. Ryan Green at the faceoff dot. Loses the puck. Winnipeg now has control. Bedard tried to steal. Hawks come out with it was Vlasic, but Winnipeg steal it back. It's a 2-on-1. Hawks come back in the zone in time. Jonathan Toews with a shot on goal onto Spencer Knight. Oh, here we go. Donato tried a breakout, but he loses control, and the Jets set up. DeMello tried to clear, but Donato was there to steal. Hawks set up is Renzel with a shot that gets blocked. Now in Vlasic back to Renzel. Renzel tried to deke through Shifley, and Connor comes up with it. Now the Hawks set up in the neutral zone. Hawks losing control. Connor to Shifley and a save. And wait, what? The puck just squeaks through Spencer Knight, and the Jets take a 2-goal lead. Mark Shifley at 18:06 in the second period, and the Hawks are down by 2. Not looking good for the Blackhawks here. That was a bad goal by Knight. I would have to say that one would be one that Knight would want back. Just right through the 5-hole. Not looking good for the Blackhawks here. Hawks are down by 2 to Winnipeg now. Connor Murphy with the puck and loses control. Winnipeg starts battling in the Hawks defensive zone. Winnipeg comes out with it. Hawks now with control is Grizzlick. Grizzlick over to Murphy. Murphy over to Bedard. Bedard trying to rush and go into the offensive zone. Up over to Burakovsky to Murphy. A shot that goes off the blocker of Hellebuck, and Grizzlick sends it down to Bedard. Bedard to Burakovsky that shoots wide. Murphy shoots it, and a save by Hellebuck. Burakovsky comes out with the puck, though. Hawks are trying to battle and do something here. Ryan Green getting checked by Morrissey, and the Jets come up with the puck is DeMello. Now the Hawks have it as Murphy. Murphy sends it, and Burakovsky comes out with it. Hawks lose control as Morrissey now with it. Morrissey trying an exit for the Jets, and the Hawks get it as Wyatt Kaiser. Kaiser dump it into the offensive zone from center ice. Hawks can't get much of control here, but now they do. At center ice is Letshunov, dumping it into the offensive zone for Colton Dock to get something going. Nick Foligno over to Dock behind the net. Dock trying to feed Kaiser, breaking through. At 16:36 in the second period, it appears the Hawks will be heading to a power play. No, not a power play. I don't know why they called a stoppage of play. Oh yeah, power play. Niederreiter heads to the box. 16:36. Hawks head to the power play in the second period of play. Here we go. Bertuzzi at the faceoff. Wins it back to Renzel. Renzel sets up Burakovsky. Over to Bedard. Fires! And that goes wide. Bedard now with it. Over to Bertuzzi to Burakovsky. Burakovsky to Renzel. Over to Bertuzzi. Down to Burakovsky. Burakovsky on the circle. Tried to cross crease it over to Bedard. That doesn't happen, and Toews cleared it. Now it's Spencer Knight controlling. Over to Renzel. Renzel sets up for the push and back, and Connor nearly stole it. Now Burakovsky over to Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi back to Renzel. Come on, guys. Get control and start rushing it. Don't do a push and back. Just skate it. And he's going to. Nope. Renzel tried. What are you doing, Renzel? Oh my God. Connor now goes in, shoots it, that goes wide. Now the Jets lose control. Bedard trying to get to it in the offensive zone. Hawks aren't doing much of anything because they can't control the puck for an entry because Stam Renzel tries for a push and back entry. Here we go. Lechunov at center ice dumps it into the offensive zone, and Winnipeg comes up with it. Donato feeds it to Lechunov. Lechunov to Teravainen. Teuws getting checked. Over to Foligno. Foligno to Donato. Donato cross it over to Teuws. Teuws down to Foligno. Back to Donato. Donato sends it over to Green. And Lechunov to Teuws. Teuws sets up. Looking for Donato. Donato fires! And that goes wide. Teravainen sets up. Teuws looking, shoots wide, and now Donato comes up with it, getting checked, and that's the end of the power play. Green goes over to Lechunov, fires, and that gets blocked. Lechunov comes back up with the puck, but the Jets do kill the Hawks power play, and now they go down the ice. Winnipeg starting an outlet. Now Green steals the puck. Foligno trying to get to it, but Donato comes up with it. Foligno deking, looking, tried to feed it for Green, doesn't get it, and the Jets get out of the zone. Now it's Kaiser. Kaiser dumping it into the offensive zone, trying to get something going here. Hawks Dickinson. Dickinson getting checked, but holding control. Dickinson battling. Dickinson looking, getting checked again. Now it's Doc coming out with the puck. Doc getting checked to the boards by DeMello. Morrissey trying to get it, and Dickinson also battling. The Jets are starting to really keep the Hawks to the perimeter here, and it's causing some issues. But the Hawks are coming up with his Grizzlick. Grizzlick over for Doc. Back to Grizzlick. Grizzlick to Kaiser. Kaiser dumping it. And the Jets set up. 13-16 in the second period. Hawks just had a power play. The second power play unit looked much better than the first power play unit as they couldn't get into the offensive zone. Sam Renzel kept trying to do a slingshot power play, which is not working. Stop with it. Yeah, well, I was hoping for the slingshot power play to end because I've never cared for it because it never works for the Blackhawks personally. In my opinion, right now, Sam Renzel needs to kind of sit when the power play is happening because he goes to that pass way too much, and it's obviously tonight it's not working. Just skate the puck. You're a good skater with the puck. Just skate it. You could get it into the offensive zone, and you could set something up from there. Don't do a slingshot power play. That's not the only option you have on a power play. I would be open to Alex Vlasic getting a shot at the power play unit. But let Renzel watch the power play get played out with someone else quarterbacking the first unit a little bit. All right. Nazar gets the puck at center ice, dumping it into the offensive zone. Winnipeg now controlling. Winnipeg going down the ice. Jonathan Toews dumping it into the Hawks defensive zone. Crevier sends it, but Connor comes up with it. Connor to Velarde. Velarde backhand shot that goes off the pad, and the Hawks now come up with his Bedard. Bedard over to Green. Green trying something and couldn't get much going. Winnipeg now with control. Winnipeg sending it up to Scheifele. Now the Hawks in the defensive zone is Crevier. Over to Bedard. Bedard trying to get it over to Green. Green in the offensive zone for Burakovsky. Burakovsky entered. Now Green on the point. Over to Burakovsky. Burakovsky to Vlasic. Vlasic shoots off the stick of Burakovsky going. No, that was Green going in. Now it's Bedard. Bedard looking. Bedard over to Vlasic with a shot that goes wide. Now it's Renzel. Renzel getting it, setting up. Bedard with a shot and a glove save by Hellebuck. $11:18 in the second period. Hawks down by 2. Sorry if my dogs are still barking. It's because someone just drove by the house. Halloween tomorrow is going to be interesting to see how they are for it. Nazar at the dot. Nazar wins the faceoff. Lachunov gets it to Bertuzzi. Nazar behind Hellebuck. Nazar tried to get it back up to Lachunov. Now to Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi shot it, and now the Jets go on a break. 2-0, but Kaiser gets back there. Hawks nearly gave up a goal there, but Kaiser now comes out with it at center ice, dumping it into the offensive zone. Nazar couldn't get the puck as Winnipeg was there to defend. Grizzly comes up with it, dumping it into the offensive zone, but Winnipeg has control. All right, Donato gets it, and now Doc. Doc going up the ice. Doc getting checked. Toews coming up with it. Dickinson battling against Toews, but the Jets, Neil Pionk dumping it down to the Hawks defensive zone. Donato now with control. Donato at center ice going in. Donato deking, shoots and whips on his shot. Now the Jets have control again, dumping up towards the center ice. Toews is out there. Neil Pionk with Jonathan Toews. Toews with the control. Toews deking Vlasic. Toews getting checked by Vlasic, and the Hawks come up with it. Foligno at center ice, cutting in. Foligno shoots it around the ice, and the Hawks lose control, but Nazar nearly had it. And now the battling is Winnipeg with it again. Neil Pionk sets up the Jets for an outlet. Hawks steal. Renzel tried to deke through and couldn't keep control. Vlasic now out there behind Knight. Vlasic settles over to Renzel. Renzel looking down the ice for Slager. Slager in the offensive zone can't get much going. Now it's Scheifele. Scheifele, who scored the third goal for the Jets. Scheifele going and starting something up with Morrissey. Morrissey over to DeMello to Velarde, and he scored. Are you kidding me, guys? The defense tonight for the Hawks is looking weak. Three unanswered goals for the Winnipeg Jets, making it a 4-1 game. The Hawks just are not reading defense well. They're really making life difficult for Spencer Knight, and, well, it's not going to work. Winnipeg leads 4-1. Gabe Vilardi with his second of the night. This has been a bad game by the Blackhawks. Barron tries to set up, and now the Hawks can't get much going again. Oh, that's a cross-check that did not get called. I'm shocked. I honestly thought Kaiser was going to get called for a cross-checking penalty, but he did not. Or a boarding penalty. 8:07 remaining in the second period. Hawks down by 3. Not looking good by the Blackhawks defensively tonight. Really rough. Nazar at the dot in the offensive zone. Can't win the faceoff. Nazar comes up with it. Shoots it off the pads of Hellebuck. Winnipeg now with it and trying an outlet. Winnipeg goes through. Grizzly comes up with it over to Lachunov. Lachunov sends it up the ice. Nazar comes up with it. Over to Bertuzzi to Teravainen. Tavo leaves it for Grizzly. Fires! Nazar tries to get that loose puck in, and he couldn't. Now the puck is continuing to stay loose. Lachunov misreads, and it goes to neutral zone. Winnipeg is battling. However, Hawks pull Knight. That means a delayed penalty is coming. And let's see if the Hawks can do something with this delayed penalty entry. Now it's Grizzly. Grizzly sets up for the entry. Now it's Burakovsky. Burakovsky to Bedard. Bedard at center ice, rushing down the ice. And Pionk comes up with the puck. 7:06 remaining in the second period. Hawks down by 3. However, they're going to their third power play of the game, which really has not looked good at all tonight. Fudge. Trying to hit the go live button on this commercial break just so it. Am I frustrated with how the Hawks have played tonight? Yeah, I am. This has looked really bad. They are not playing with any true pressure. I get we're still in that rebuild phase, but we've been playing good hockey all season. Except for the game against LA. That was a bad game. This game is not looking good. Knight gave up a softie. Hawks power play looks bad. Defense looks weak tonight. Nothing really working well for the Blackhawks. They don't look tired, more so they look off. They just can't get much going. All right, 0 for 2 on the power play. Here we go again. Renzel out there. Sets up Bedard. Bedard looking. Bedard over to Nazar. Shoots it into the pads of Hellebuck. All right, here we go again. Face off in the offensive zone. Hawks looking to set up, and they won the face off. Bedard dekes. Bedard deking again. Over to Renzel. Bedard now with it at the circle. Oh, he shoots it wide. Burakovsky over to Nazar. Back to Bedard. Bedard looking. Getting checked by Barron. Now back to Nazar. Nazar looking. Nazar looking to back for Bedard. Bedard getting checked by Neil Pionk. And the Jets come up with the puck and clear it. Winnipeg is going down for a breakaway, and Spencer Knight needs to stand strong. Renzel now with it. Renzel going up the ice, and he's going to go over to Bedard. Bedard and the offensive zone. Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi. Nazar. Nazar looking over to Burakovsky and doesn't get it to him. Now Renzel into the defensive zone, sends it up the ice over to Nazar. Nazar over to Bedard. To Burakovsky, fires and goes wide. Bertuzzi sends it over to Nazar. Nazar sends it back down to Bertuzzi, and the Jets come up with it and clear the puck down the ice with 35 seconds remaining on the power play. Now we see Lachunov sending and doing a slingshot. Now it's Teuvo. Teuvo Teravainen going up the ice was Ryan Green. Ryan Green getting checked off the puck, and now coming up with it is Green. Back over to Lachunov, who can't get the shot off, and the Jets come out with it. Lachunov now stuck in the defensive zone. 5 seconds remaining on the power play, and that's going to kill it. Easy. Green over to Donato. Donato gets it back to Green. Green over to Foligno to Lachunov, and that goes high and wide. Now Foligno behind the net getting checked by Morrissey, and that puck goes down the ice, and the Hawks were the one that sent it down the ice. So here we go again. Now it's Kaiser. Kaiser sending the puck over, and Dickinson coming in. Fires in a save by Hellebuck. Hawks now get his Crevier. Crevier sending it around the ice, and now it's Kaiser. Kaiser sends it all over to Slager, who gets checked off the puck, and the Jets come up with it. Winnipeg coming for a rush, but Crevier sends it back up the ice. Crevier over, and now Doc. Doc over to Nazar. Nazar cutting, leaves it back pass for Vlasic. Vlasic cutting around the ice, going behind Hellebuck. Vlasic looking. Vlasic tried to find Slager cutting, and now the Jets come up with it. It was Velarde. Now the Jets start something going. Velarde looking over to DeMello. DeMello with a shot, and a big save by Knight. Holy cow. 3:54 remaining in the second period. Spencer Knight just made a massive save to keep this game within 3. I know I don't do live streams often, so. All right. Foligno at the dot versus Shifley. Now versus Velarde. Connor comes up with it, goes over to Morrissey. Morrissey tried to set up Shifley at the back door. Nice check by Vlasic here. Vlasic gets the puck for Foligno. Now the Hawks come out with it, and Velarde sets up and shoots. And now the Hawks are getting helmed into the defensive zone with the Shifley line out there. This line has killed the Hawks tonight, as they have 3 of the 4 goals on the game. Donato can't get control. Now he does. Donato gets over to Murphy. Murphy trying to dump it into the offensive zone. DeMello comes up with it. Donato battling DeMello, but Morrissey comes out with the puck. It's Burakovsky for Bedard. Burakovsky doesn't get much going, and now the Jets go down for a rush here. All right, Hawks coming out with the puck again, dumping it into the offensive zone. Hellebuck, though, comes out with it and sets up the Jets to get control. Winnipeg now with it, and a good check by Renzel on Toews. Burakovsky over to Renzel, trying to get it up to Bedard. Pionk shoots it off the blocker of Knight. The Jets control and start really getting something going. Grzelcyk battling. Toews comes up with the puck. Pionk now having control. 1:55 remaining. Jets are cycling, and a shot that goes wide. Toews almost comes out with the puck. Now it's Burakovsky. Burakovsky at center ice dumps it into the offensive zone for a change. 1:40 remaining in the second. Winnipeg is really keeping the Hawks on the heels this game, not looking good. Niederreiter comes up with the puck. Jets now sets up. DeMello with it to go back down. Barron back to Niederreiter, back to DeMello. Over to Morrissey. Niederreiter shoots it, and a save by Knight. 1:12 remaining in the second period. Hawks are trying to figure out who to go up against this Scheifele face-off in the offensive zone for the Jets. Scheifele versus Doc. No, versus Foligno. No, that was Nazar. My bad. Kaiser getting really checked by Velarde. He couldn't do much. Connor with it, trying to set up Velarde for a hat trick, who couldn't get a shot off as it was blocked. 52 seconds remaining in the second period. This game is frustrating as hell. Toews at the faceoff dot versus Teravainen. Oh, versus Green. Now Toews gets tossed, and now it's Nemiskevich. Hawks win the faceoff in the defensive zone. 50 seconds remaining. Foligno trying to dump it into the offensive zone. Morrissey comes out with it, though. Toews comes up with it, and the Hawks have control as Foligno. Foligno getting checked. Hawks trying to just get out of the second period, which has been very ugly. Winnipeg comes up with it and dumping it. Krislik tried to get it out, and now the Hawks have it. It's Slager. Slager over to Foligno. Foligno dumping it into the offensive zone. Neil Pionk behind the goal line sets up an outlet for 12 seconds remaining. Pionk sends it down the ice, and that should be icing, but the Hawks don't go for an icing. Here we go again. Winnipeg with it, and that will be it for the second period of play. Hawks give up 3 unanswered goals. Well, 2 unanswered goals in the second period, 3 unanswered total goals because they, if you know what I mean. But the Hawks are not looking good. This game might go down as the worst game in so far this season. They are not playing smart hockey. They're getting helmed in their defensive zone when that Scheifele line is out there. They are not looking like they know how to defend it. The defense is looking weak tonight. Knight gave up a weak goal. We'll see what happens, but Blashill might need to change something up in this second intermission. I'm going to do a scoreboard check throughout the league. Obviously, our game is in the second intermission. We're losing 4-1. The Buffalo Sabres ended up tying up their game against the Boston Bruins with 1:34 remaining in regulation time. It's 3-3. The Flames and the Senators are tied 3-3 in overtime. The Stars and Lightning are tied 1-1 in overtime. So those games should end pretty soon here. The Islanders are losing 4-1 to the Hurricanes in the third period. The Canucks and Blues are tied 2 apiece after 2. The Penguins and Wild are tied 1-1 at the end of 2 with 38 seconds left in that period. The Rangers and Oilers are tied 1 apiece. The Flyers beat the Predators 4-1. The Devils and Sharks have not started yet. That will start in 15 minutes. And the Red Wings and Kings have not started yet. That will start in 45 minutes. So I'm going to keep the score checking with games in overtime. The Buffalo and Boston game is currently a minute 17 left in regulation. Boston on a power play that just started. Pulling up the Buffalo game. 56 seconds left in the Buffalo game. 3-3 game with a minute 40 left on a power play for the Bruins. Well, already this is the worst. So far, the game has, I would say, the way the Hawks have played, this is the worst game so far this season. Here's why. The defense looks weak out there. Dickinson doesn't look right. The Hawks are not reading the puck well. Power play looks weak. The game against the Kings, they at least had a lead in it. Hawks have not had a lead at all this game. This game is definitely the worst game of the season. And also, this is the largest goal differential in a game the Hawks have faced this season. So the Buffalo Sabres and Boston Bruins head to overtime. Come here, Duncan. Come here, buddy. Come on. Got Duncan in. I know you like falling asleep pretty soon. You're a good boy. Yep, Duncan. Yes, it's Duncan is named after Duncan Keith. Hey, Frank. What's up, Frank? And that was Frank. Yeah, again, this game has not looked good for the Blackhawks. Worst game of the season thus far. Would have been nice to play better. Ryan, actually, no, he is not named after Frank Nazar. In fact, Frank, he's already 7 years old, so he's been around longer than Frank Nazar has been on the Hawks. My sister named him Frank, and the name works for him. Oh, the Bruins almost won in overtime, but the puck did come loose, and the Sabres came out with it. And that's Elsa. And it feels like this intermission has taken forever. One moment, guys. Sorry about that. So the Bruins just won in overtime. So let's see what the scores are that were games that went to overtime, because half the league went to overtime tonight. Bruins just won. Senators and Flames are headed to a shootout. Brendan Hagel scored the OT winner for the Lightning. So I'm going to put that shootout on my phone so I can see what's happening there. If I remember correctly, last year the Calgary Flames sucked in overtime, and that's what cost them a playoff spot. Ooh, that was a nice goal for like a shootout goal. I agree, Ryan. Shootouts suck. I could show you what happened in how my team won in beer league last week if you guys want. Looks like the Senators are going to win their game because Stützle just made it 2-0 in the shootout. So, if you're wanting to watch, this is my beer league game from last week. So we went to a shootout last week in my beer league game, and so this is how we won our game. And so we won our game in a shootout last week. Yeah. My team is starting to find our game back. We are currently 3-2 on the season. Going into Saturday night, we'll have are looking to go on a 4-game to continue our win streak that we're currently on. The Milkmen play some good hockey right now. What position do I play? I primarily play left wing with my right hand shot, but I do play right wing. I have played center. I suck at it. I cannot win a face off at all. I don't play. I'm not defenseman. That's for sure. But I do know how to. I know how to back check well. This intermission has taken a while. My number I wear is number 46 on my team. If I could get more clips, like if I know how to, I will set up because we do have I did create a YouTube channel for the team. Haven't done any uploads to it because I'm still trying to figure out a way for us to record during the games. That was from live. That was the way we were able to get the clips like that is from our arena using Live Barn, and some of the guys download the clips from the games, so that's how that worked out. So I was able to show you guys our shootout winner from last Saturday. And yes, if the Hawks are playing when my beer league is going on, we do run games on the bench. We have NHL games running on the bench from our cell phones. So I usually have a Blackhawk game running if the Hawks are playing at the same time as the Milkmen, which is my team name. Actually, I did a video collaboration a few months ago with the YouTube channel. Ugly Thirds, and we did two videos on our uniforms for the Milkmen. I I did a lot by designing I created our logo for the team and our first set of uniforms I designed. And our third set is basically a little updated version of our original set. So are on our third set of uniforms with a third jersey and manufacturing right now, and the process of getting done because we just tomorrow should be when our order goes through for the third jersey, which I'm looking forward for. And the third period of play is on its way. Hawks win the opening face-off of the third period. Hawks in the offensive zone setting up. Hey guys, calm down. It's just a person walking, which is late to be walking at 9 o'clock, but it was a nice day out too. Hawks headed to the power play. Has not looked good tonight. No, the Jets are actually headed to the power play. No, they waved off the penalty. I thought the Hawks were headed to a power play because there was a hook. And I saw a ref's arm go up at the same time I saw it. All right, Burakovsky with the puck. Burakovsky over to Renzel. Renzel looking, shoots it. That goes wide. Now it's Green. Green over to Burakovsky. Jets coming up with the puck is Morrissey. Up over to Velarde. Now to Connor. Connor gets over to Scheifele. Scheifele loses control, and the Hawks come out with it. Hawks Renzel sends the puck up the ice over to Green. Green Deeks going past DeMello, backhand around the net, over, and Scheifele comes out with it. Now the Jets set up in their defensive zone to go on an offensive zone rush. Connor dumping it into the offensive zone for the Jets. Now Spencer Knight plays it over to Grizzly. Hawks now settle things down in the defensive zone, sending the puck up the ice. Now Barron now with it for the Jets. Hawks are back down into the defensive zone. And that's heading to a penalty kill for the Hawks as there was a trip in the neutral zone. Colton Dach headed to the box for the second time tonight, this time tripping Barron. So 18:09 remaining in the final period of regulation time. Jets have outplayed the Hawks all around tonight. So here we go on the PK. Nick Foligno at the dot, loses the faceoff. Jets set up is Morrissey. Morrissey gets it to Connor, and Scheifele tried. No, that was not Scheifele. Connor sets up. Scheifele now with it over to Morrissey, back to Connor. Connor looking. Connor setting up. Connor look for Velarde. Foligno clearing the puck down the ice. Getting a change. 1:35 remaining on the PK. Morrissey with the puck. Going down the ice. Leaves it for a slingshot. Now it's Connor over to Scheifele. Scheifele gets checked off the puck by Kaiser. Kaiser clearing the puck with 17:25 remaining. Hellebuck playing the puck and leaves it for Velarde to set up. Velarde from Morrissey. Morrissey looking for an entry. Morrissey leaves it for a slingshot to Connor. Connor going up the ice with the puck. Sends it over to Velarde. Connor again. Connor behind the net looking up the ice for Iafallo over to Morrissey over to Scheifele. Scheifele back to Morrissey over to Connor. Connor looking, shoots, and gets blocked by Crevier. And the puck goes out of play. 40 seconds remaining on the PK. Again, just a reminder: there will be no review of the game, as it's kind of redundant to do a review on a from going live for a full 60 minutes of play. Jonathan Toews with the puck over to Pionk. Pionk with a shot that goes wide. Niederreiter over to Toews back, and the Hawks try getting it with Foligno, but Nemeskevich over to Pionk fires and a save by Knight. 14 seconds remaining on the PK. Come on, Nazar. Pionk. Nemeskevich. Toews cutting in, and a save by Knight to keep the puck out of the net. Toews had a high danger opportunity as he cut from behind the goal line and in, but Knight said no. Toews at the faceoff dot versus Nazar. Pionk with it, sends it over to Nemeskevich to Toews. Toews back to Nemeskevich, shoots it, and saved by Knight. The penalty is over. Kaiser comes up with the puck, trying to get it out of the zone. Is Crevier now. Crevier over, and Teuvo Teravainen. No, that's Colton Dach. My bad. Colton Dach now in the offensive zone behind Hellebuck, but the Jets had the more people on the ice, and the Hawks had to change. Litchinov out there with Grzelcyk, Bedard, and Green, and so Dach might be still out there. All right, 15:39 remaining in the third period. Connor Bedard at the dot and center ice. Now it's Litchinov. Hawks tried to get it into the offensive zone. Burakovsky out there with Green and Bedard. Burakovsky battling Morrissey. Morrissey gets the puck out for Barron. Barron sets up for an outlet. Hawks come out with it. Over to Burakovsky. Burakovsky tried to set up Litchinov. Litchinov dumps it around over to Bedard. Bedard sends it up, and the Hawks shoot it, and now Burakovsky sets up. Back over to Litchinov, and now the Jets come down on an attack. But Litchinov battled and won the puck. Morrissey now comes out with it. Over to Barron. Barron looking, shoots it off the blocker of Knight. Now it's Donato. Donato sends it, and the Hawks go for attack. Donato back with the puck in center ice. Donato looking, cutting through, and he got pulp checked at the time he was shooting. Hawks now set up. Rinzel with a shot that goes off the pads. Now the Hawks got a little bit of fight going. Connor with the puck, though. Scheifele now going up the ice with it. Scheifele battling Rinzel. Now the Jets shoot it was DeMello. Hawks trying to get it out of the zone because this Scheifele line's been killing us this game. Hayden Fleury shot it that went high and wide. Now the Hawks are in a board battle, but come up with his Donato. Donato looking over to Vlasic for Slager that gets blocked. Scheifele gets the loose puck and going down the ice. Dach battled and won the puck. Colton Dach going back down into the offensive zone, shoots it, and it's saved by Hellebuck at 13:45 remaining in regulation time. I'm going to score check what's going on. Hurricanes are winning 5-2 over the Islanders. The Canucks just took a 3-2 lead over the Blues. The Blues pulled their goalie with 11 minutes left in regulation. That's kind of shocking unless it's a delayed penalty. It's 1-1 in the third for Minnesota and Pittsburgh. 1-1 in the start of the second for the Rangers and Oilers. The Devils and Sharks just got started. The Red Wings and Kings have not even got going yet. Bruins won 3-2, 4-3 in overtime. Senators won 4-3 in a shootout over the Flames. The Flyers beat the Predators 4-1. And the Lightning beat the Stars 2-1 in overtime. All right, Lechina battling Jonathan Toews. Lechina sends the puck up to the neutral zone. Nazar coming out with it. Nazar looking for an opportunity, but Pionk comes up with it for Jonathan Toews. Toews sends it up the ice over to Nemetsevich at center ice. Now it's near. That's Logan Stanley. Okay. Now it's Nazar. Nazar sends it to Teravainen. Tavo deking through center ice. Tavo getting through and getting battled by 5 Jets players, including Jonathan Toews as one. Tavo gets it over to Bedard. Bedard cutting, fires on a toe drag release. That was blocked down by Hellebuck. Bedard has looked good tonight. I will say that. He has looked good. So has the Nazar line. So really tonight the defense has been a major issue. Bedard and Nazar's lines have been solid, not the best, but they've generated. Everything else has not been working. Burakovsky in the offensive zone now. Bedard feeds it. Vlasic over to Green, and he shot it, and it was saved. Now the Jets are trying to get out of the defensive zone for themselves, and Bedard might be heading to the box. Nope, Bedard won't be heading to the box. I thought he would have gotten a tripping penalty, but he didn't. Now Velarde getting hit by Doc. The Jets trying to charge down the ice, but the Hawks cause them to ice the puck. 11:21 remaining in the third period of play. Hawks down by 3. There's probably been about 6 high danger scoring chances, in my opinion, this game by the Hawks. Not many. But it's hard to beat the Hart Trophy winning goalie and Connor Hellebuck. Okay, Tavo sends it over for Renzel. Renzel looking, getting checked behind the net, cutting through. Bertuzzi almost puts it in. Bertuzzi comes up with the loose puck. Now Teravainen over to Kaiser. Renzel fires, and it gets blocked, and Connor comes up with it. What's up, Frank? Oh, no. Scheifele on a break, and a save by Knight. Kaiser gets pulp checked off the puck. Now we see Nazar. Nazar going up the ice with it to attack the Jets. Pionk checks Nazar off the puck, and Lechinov comes up with it. Lechinov dumping it into the offensive zone, and the Jets come up with it. Is Pionk over to Stanley. Stanley dumping it up to center ice, and now the Jets are pressing. And the puck goes out of play. 10:08 remaining in the third period. Hawks down by 3. It's a 4-1 game. Rough game, but there's been a little bit of life by the Blackhawks this third period of play. I will say that. If the Hawks play how they are this third period, if they played like this more this entire game, they probably had a better shot at this game, but really they haven't played well all 60 the first 40 minutes of play. So we'll see what happens. Toews plays the puck up to DeMello, over to Morrissey, shooting it. Oh no! Oh my God. Another bad goal from Spencer Knight. He misread it. Josh Morrissey shoots the puck off Spencer Knight, and the puck just rattled past him, and it's 5-1 Jets. And Jonathan Toews gets an assist versus the Blackhawks. Shots on goal 29-19 in favor for the Jets. More proof the Hawks just really couldn't get much going. Oh, Green to Burkowski. Fires! It's got a Gravier. Now it's... I do believe Jonathan Toews did get an assist on that goal. This game's been a rough one for Spencer Knight, too. Probably his worst game in a Blackhawk uniform. Yep, Jonathan Toews did get credited with his assist on the Josh Morrissey goal to put them up 5-1. Come here, Frank. Oh, this game sucks. This game has really sucked by the Hawks. They look off tonight. Tomorrow, when the Hawks obviously are traveling after tonight's game, heading to where do we head out to? I think it's Vancouver for Saturday, right? Vancouver sounds right. No, Edmonton. Hawks head out to Edmonton for Saturday, so get on the plane after this game, head out to Edmonton, practice tomorrow probably to fix some of the issues they had tonight, because tonight's been a bad game. It's just been bad. This road trip feels like the old circus trip the Hawks used to take a while ago, because they would take a road trip in November, which was about a 6-game road trip, a little bit longer sometimes, called the circus trip, because the circus came into the United Center and took over that. Oh, here we go. Oh, Doc, you held on to the puck too long, buddy. Gotta shoot it. Okay, Lechina fires, and that goes wide. Hawks are just trying to make something out of this terrible game. Luckily, I won't have to miss any of the Hawks. I won't. The Hawks game on Saturdays, 9 o'clock start, I believe. Yeah, it is. My beer league games at 8. Not going. I won't have to miss anything. If I am, I will have the game running and right after my game, because locker room, I could throw the game on. I wouldn't be missing anything. Hey! Connor Bedard puts one in. Nope, that's Alex Vlasic's first of the season, and we get on the board again to finish this 4 unanswered run the Jets have been on. So Connor Bedard does get an assist on this Alex Vlasic's goal in this game. A little late in the game, but Vlasic gets on the board. Hawks within 3. Yay. Oh, this was a rough game. 6:55 remaining in the third period of play. Hawks down by 3. Alex Vlasic just getting on the board for your Chicago Blackhawks. Rough game all around by the Blackhawks. Defensively, really bad. Offensively, not so good. Power play, terrible. Knight had a rough night. I think he'll have a bounce back on Saturday if he's in net. He should. Granted, the last 2 games have been a little rough for Spencer Knight. Connor Bedard should get an assist, right? Oh my God. Get your ego checked, ref. Stop barking at Bedard. Who is that ref? He wore number 2, so 5:51 remaining in regulation time. Hawks down by 3. Sam Renzel with the puck in the defensive zone trying to break it out, but the Scheifele line's out there, and we know how bad the Hawks have been matched up against this Scheifele line tonight. Vlasic trying to get it out of the zone. Hawks do get the puck. It's Bedard. Bedard going up with it. Now it's Burakovsky. Burakovsky loses an edge, and the Velarde now has control. The Vlasic goal was unassisted. I would have thought maybe Bedard would have been credited with one, but officials are calling it unassisted. Bedard over to Lichinov, over to Bedard, firing, going off the board, and in! Holy cow! We're back in it! Burakovsky buries it! Backhand! Hawks are within 2. 4:57 remaining in regulation time. Hawks back in this game with just down by 2. Holy cow. Nice pass by Bedard down to Burakovsky. And a great in between between the legs back like between the legs goal by Burakovsky. Here we go, boys. Game is back on. The Jets set up and shoots it, and it's saved by Knight. Hawks are now trying to get it out of the defensive zone. Hawks are now with control, sending it up to Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi can't get control, and now the Jets, Jonathan Toews line is out there. Toews with control. Toews setting up. Toews getting checked. Hawks can't get it. Toews almost had a goal there, but the Hawks now with it. It's Frank Nazar. Nazar guarding up the ice over to Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi onto the stick of Teravainen, and that redirected. Now the Jets have it. It's Jonathan Toews. Toews dumping it up the ice. Hawks come up with it. Crevier trying to get it in. And now Donato dumping it into the offensive zone. Hawks going in on Hellebuck here. And now Donato over to Foligno behind the net, setting up, getting checked by Morrissey. Foligno sends it up to Crevier. Across over to Vlasic. Back to Crevier. Fires! And that gets blocked. Hawks come back up with it. Back to Crevier. Crevier down to Donato. Donato looking. Donato almost gets Foligno cutting through, but now the Hawks lose control and the Jets send it down the ice. Vlasic in the defensive zone sends it up to the neutral zone, dumping it in. On a change was Foligno. The Jets have control behind Hellebuck. DeMello sending the puck up the rush with Scheifele. Scheifele deking through, and Teravainen tried to get it. Now the Jets set up, but Teravainen steals. Renzel, no. Scheifele comes out with it. Scheifele gets control again, battled by Renzel. Nazar now with the puck. Nazar skating. Nazar to Bedard. Back to Nazar. Nazar getting checked off the puck, and Scheifele leaves it, setting up the Jets to go in. Connor with it. Connor looking. Connor setting up on a backhand. And he scored. Kyle Connor, backhand, sharp angled shot, beats Spencer Knight, giving the Jets a 3-goal lead again. This Scheifele, Connor, Velarde line killed the Hawks tonight. Ugh. Definitely the worst game of the season. Spencer Knight had a rough one tonight. Granted, he could not save that puck. That was a tough angled shot. Hawks now down by 3 with 2:25 remaining in regulation time. Nick Foligno loses an edge, and Jonathan Toews steals the puck. The Jets set up a chance, and Morrissey with a shot, and saved by Knight. Hawks are now getting tripped with Lechinov. The Jets set up in their defensive zone for an outlet with Stanley. Stanley with Morrissey out there. Morrissey looking for an opportunity. Connor Murphy gets the loose puck. Nope, the Jets come out with it. The Jets are just going to try and shut down the game, and Murphy's heading to the box. 1:39 remaining in regulation time. The Hawks are going to lose this game. Tempers have flared, and with 1:39 remaining, some penalties are going to be getting called because some scrums have pursued in the final minute of play. Ugh. Murphy had Stanley in a headlock. The only penalty is Connor Murphy heading to the box. Ugh. Yeah, it's just a rough game all around. Spencer Knight looked off all night. Defense looked really showed their youth, showed their inexperience. Rough game, a really rough game. Now we have to play against the defending Western Conference champion Edmonton Oilers Saturday. Okay. Frank Nazar trying for a shorthanded opportunity break. Did not get the puck. .40 seconds remains in the game. Jets are just trying to run up the score here. Nope. Hawks come up with the puck, clear it down the ice. Teravainen has the puck, looking shorthanded. Jonathan Toews battling. No, he's not battling. He is out there though. And the game is over. The Hawks lose it 6-3 in Winnipeg. Worst loss of the Jeff Blashill era officially tonight. This game altogether, the defense looked off. The Hawks just could not get anything going until late in the game. And that's what cost them this game. Nothing was working well for the Blackhawks in this one. So I want to say thank you for those who came to the live stream. No review tonight due to the fact I was live all game. So thank you for watching the broadcast. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And most of all, that was a rough game by your Chicago Blackhawks tonight. And have a good Halloween tomorrow. If anyone's going to trick or treating, stay safe and have a good night.